Hello. Can you hear me? How's it going, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me, if I blew out the mic, any of that stuff. So just let me know in the chat. I will fully admit it has been a day. Hello. There we go. Awesome. You can hear me. I got this working. We're all good. How's it going, everybody? I just figured, have an upload for a bit. Working on a video for tomorrow. And we can just chill here. Damn. Already. Yeah. I mean, we can do more Q&As if you guys want. There's an ad. Of course, there's an ad. It has been a day. It's been a day. Cool stuff coming down the pipeline, though. Definitely. You can hear me? Awesome. Good. Good. I think I got the internet stuff figured out from last night. It wasn't even internet. It was just StreamYard. I think we got that all figured out. We'll talk about Lionel. We can talk about Bristol. We can talk about the fact that Daily Downfords is back. So that should be a lot of fun. Thank you, Bailey, for the 5 here, saying, as an SHR fan, I followed Briscoe because he drove the 14 and he feels so inconsistent. I don't know why. He'll run top 10, then 25th or worse next week. That has sort of been, I think, the tail of his career, but in Cup, but at the same time, it's also Stewart Haas racing. Yeah, that's a lot of the ways that Stewart Haas Racing is definitely not the best team to have hinged the start of your career on. But hey, he's at a better team now. He'll have, time to kind of get stuff ironed out. And he should probably, I would say he should be performing well soon. If I had to guess. By the way, I'm just sharing this on Twitter or X as it is, so that we can just have a bunch of people come and hang out. But I'd give him time. I give him a little more time. I think that team can perform, and I think he can perform. So have I seen the Minecraft movie yet? No, I have no interest in seeing the Minecraft movie. I know there's plenty of fun memes from it, but I figure I'll just see the memes as they go, and we'll roll with that. By the way, forgive me, my throat's been acting up a little. Nothing to do with being sick or anything, just pollen. Let's see. How realistic do you think it is that Honda and Dodge will join by 2028? I don't know about Honda just yet, because that's still always the talk back and forth. Like, oh, Honda's eventually going to come in. We never get that. But Dodge, I think, is definitely realistic. Whether or not it's a smart move for them, like people have said, I don't know. But I think that's very likely by 27, give or take, based on the reports. 28, I think for sure. Thoughts on Ellie Productions being on an Xfinity sponsor? I love it. He's an awesome dude, and he makes awesome stuff. And just it's cool because, like, we've had him on the show before. We're gonna have him on the show this next week on Eric's channel, and like, I've met a good deal of people, like, in the industry, out of the industry, YouTube, online, all of that. And it's definitely one of those people who is like, you can see his personality just flows into his videos so well. And I love that he's getting the recognition he deserves for that. All right. And so, like, being on the car, seeing how excited everybody is for him, it makes me feel good. He's a good dude, and he deserves all this good stuff that's been coming to him on the video side, on the car, just social media, the recognition. And I love it. I love seeing it. Like, it was awesome when I was able to get on a car and seeing Eric be able to do that. It's good seeing good people get good things, I think, is kind of the way I kind of put it. Great guy. I can't wait to talk to him about it this week. Like, it's going to be really cool to hear somebody else's perspective. Like, cause I've kind of been through that before, where I've, like, where we had the podcast party bus, and there was so much around it. And, it's going to be cool to hear the other end of that. So Yeah, we're live, by the way. NWP DVD bonus features. Let's go. Yeah. I just figured we'd come on here and just chill. I mean, I want to try and do more streams, honestly, like through the week. Because I like streaming. Honestly, streaming might be the most fun that I have on here. Even if, whether it's in front of 3,000 people or 3 people, like, I don't care. It's a lot of fun for me to do. I know that time-wise, it's going to be difficult, with the baby on the way and everything. But I would love to get a schedule put together where I could do the post-race streams and the podcast like I always do, but then do like 1 or 2 more. When NASCAR 25 comes out, like I would love to do a stream or 2 a week of that and just chill, talk with people live, shoot the shit, all of it. Let's see. Alex Left here says, I'm going to the Indy 500 this year. Was also there last year. This is my 4th 500 and stopping by the USAF museum in Dayton, Ohio along the way. Sounds like a great trip. I want to go to the Indy 500 one day. I doubt that I'll be able to in the near future just because this channel is my number one job. And I will be covering the 600. I was thinking though, maybe, because I did the pre-race show for the Daytona 500, right? And I was thinking maybe I'll do a pre-race for the 600 that also can be like a post-race kind of for the Indy 500. It's not going to be in the same format, obviously, as a normal post-race show, because I'll do the post-race for the 600 after no matter what. But with Kyle Larson, a NASCAR driver in the Indy 500, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun to do. Post-race stream live from the pagoda. I know people that can probably help me with that. Honestly, I know a few people that can probably help me with that. So maybe. I'm still up in the air whether or not to go to Indy. I got to figure out, life situation and everything with that. I got a lot of cool things I've heard about Indianapolis weekend for the NASCAR weekend side of it. Am I going to the Indy 500? No, I'm not going to the Indy 500, but I might go to, I might go to the Brickyard. So knock on wood, I don't know whether or not it will. Last diecast I purchased. It's a good question. I don't remember. I'm like looking over and seeing if I have any of them out. Thing is, so like full discrepancy here. If you've noticed, like I've zoomed, kind of zoomed in closer to the wall and stuff, it's because I have. Because I'm moving. I'm going to be moving at the end of the month. So I've been packing stuff up early. And part of that is I've been tearing stuff down around here. So like for the while, this entire wall, this is the wall that used to be behind me. And then I switched stuff last year for this one. But this entire wall, like to the window and almost halfway down the room, had these pads on it, for the sound. And I can just move this camera a little bit and show you, like, we're tearing it down. Like this side, there's nothing here. Like this was the wall that, like, when we did the in-person one, that Emp Lemon, Danny B, Darian at the time, John, IDK player, that was the wall that they were on. And we've tore it all down at this point. So lot of stuff going down, man. A lot of stuff going down. And I saw, where was that comment at? We need David Landon for NWP for Indy week. For the Indy 500, Brickyard 400. And we let him know this last year. He's always like first choice, always invited. We love David. David was the one who helped us get the tour and get to see the Indianapolis Racing Museum, which has since been renovated. Yeah, David's always welcome. Always welcome. Let's see what else we got here. Timothy Wolf with the member chat. I'm trying to keep between the main chat and member chat because I don't want anyone feeling like they have to pay to be heard. And I'm trying to keep up with it. So we'll probably be on for an hour or two, just chill. So I'll make sure. Timothy Wolf for the 2-month member chat, 2 full years, hang the banner. I love that. I love the hang the banner meme, but that's actually really cool, and I appreciate it a ton. Like 2 years is not a short amount of time at all. Don't care like what way we're classifying it. Speaking of hang the banner, uh, I'm working on the design, but we're working on the design of having a hang the banner t-shirt. And we've had people send some stuff in, and I'm trying to figure out just the right way that it's not too much. It's simple, but it's not like, crazy. And then we can get some hang the banner stuff out there. I would love to see that out in the wild. I'd love to see a hang the banner t-shirt out in the wild. Um, we'll work on it. It's gonna be a while because I want to make like I put shirts out before and they're just like cruddy, or it's a simple design where I, put NWP or my channel logo or anything like that. And that's great and all. But like I don't want it to be a lazy design. Like it needs to be simple, but not too simple, like it has to hit that balance. Like when Moonhead did the Air Spanky, and it was based on like Air Jordan and Red Bull, but had Spanky on it. Like that was awesome. Like that's something that like I would love to wear out in the wild. I'll wear I've seen, people with my shirts on and stuff, and that's really cool. But it's like I want to see something that's like eye catching. People ask like, what is that? Hang the banner. Why is it? So we'll get there. Probably this summer. Again, a lot of stuff going on. The colors will be something that's going to be interesting because like there's always the stock ones, white, gray, black. But I would love it. I'd love for the designs to be able to fit with like blue or greens or yellows, like because there's so many people that want so many different colors and stuff like that. So we'll get there. But I'm letting you guys know it's on the radar. Let's see. Bailey for the 5 says, feels like an early 2010s when Cup Rookie of the Years are battling for 30th or worse in points. The only difference now is that they're actually running the full schedule and can actually lead laps and run well at some tracks. Say what you want about Riley Herbst. Like he had the 17th place finish streak for a while. Let's see. Hocevar was a fun guest in NWP. He was. And all of us at the podcast also, like, our hearts go out to him too, because I believe he lost his grandma, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that on Twitter today. He had said that he was before. He didn't say like who exactly beforehand, but he had told us beforehand that that had happened. And so like I saw some people say like he seems kind of down, like that was why. But he chilled with us. He's a great dude. I know a lot of people don't like him because of his driving style and stuff like that. But I think he's a really good guy. I think he's going to be around the sport for a long time. And we've thought that for a while, since we met him. I think, well, Eric's known him on the channel for a while because he used to be a fan of Eric's stop motions back when they were both kids. I say they were both kids. I'm the same age as Eric. So, but Carson's going to be around for a long time, and I can't wait to see what he does. But I feel really bad for him having to go through that, and I hope he kicks ass this weekend. I really hope he kicks ass this weekend. Gets a top 10, gets a top 5, maybe. He's ran well here before, so I see no reason to think he can't do well. Yeah, he was in the old Double E Cup series back in the day. Yeah, I wonder if Eric will bring that back. That'd be a lot of fun to see him bring that back, especially if like him and Carson did something before. We can make this happen. Let's make this happen at some point. Real quick, Steven for the 10, thank you. Says calling it now. Larson will finish in the top 10 at Indy and win the 600. Ooh, win the 600. See, this is the thing. Last year, Larson ran like in that 5th to 8th range, which I think is excelling for first time in the Indy 500. And I think he'll be better this year. Like, who knows? This might be his last year doing it. It might not be. We'll find out. I would love if he made this just a thing every year. Like he has such a versatile driving style. The 600, I could totally see him winning that. Totally could. But the Indy 500 too, I could see him running top 5. I made the prediction on the podcast last night that I made the prediction that Larson would finish, I think, top 5 in both, and I fully think that that can happen. I really do. As long as Mother Nature stays out of the way, man. Um, Blue Jimmy brings up David said in his video, this may be Larson's last attempt. It's true. It might be. I have not heard any rumors of him doing anything past this year. I would love him to, though. I would love if it just became a tradition of like we had a NASCAR driver do the double and an IndyCar driver do the double. And just every year we had that cross promotion, that mix of cultures, of fans, of all that together. Because I think the American racing culture in a lot of ways, is so fractured and divided. Like wear a NASCAR shirt to a dirt track race. And like the amount of dirty looks that you'll get are insane. I wore one back in 2015, 16. They had done a dirt track race. They put dirt on top of the Rockford Speedway. And I wore a Dale Jr. shirt, thinking nothing else. Like, oh, we're all racing fans. The amount of people who were loudly, conveniently talking trash about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and NASCAR when I was there was insane. And I'm not saying it doesn't go both ways. There's so many NASCAR fans that are like, absolutely hate open wheel racing or the Euro stuff. I say it as a joke, like, oh, that Euro trash, whatever. But it's a joke. Like, you got to respect the series, man. But so many elitist F1 fans and just, I feel like, having that back and forth would just be, it'd be good for racing. Because I think I've said this before, but I see motorsports in America the way that I see metal fans and rock fans. And there's so many schisms in metal and rock of people who hate this one, or this one's too normie, or this one's too crazy, or this one's too this and this and this. And while I hate I hate this band because of their fans and stuff like that. And I think the same way in motorsports where there's so many motorsport fans that just unnecessarily hate other shoes. You don't have to like them, but like at least have the respect there, and at least have like an olive branch there. Because like I'll be real with you. I tried watching Formula One for about 2 or 3 years. I just couldn't get into it. I respect the hell out of it. I might make the Netflix joke every now and then. But it is a legit series. It is amazing what those guys can do and the reaction times they have. Like, I fully respect it. It might not be my thing, but I respect it. And I think that's the way it should go more and more. It's like one of the reasons why I love the SRX. You combined like local short track racing with kind of big time stock car and open wheel, and you had all these different personalities. And I loved it. I miss SRX. I know it was not destined to last long, but I miss it, Let's see. Who wins Bristol? Jeffrey King. It's good that you have the 9 as your profile pick, because let me pull it up. I think I have it written down here. If it's not bleached out, it's bleached out. There it is. Elliott. I think Chase Elliott wins it. I think Chase Elliott wins. He had, I watched our good buddy, friend of the channel, Auto Racing Analytics, who did a really good video. And I implore you guys to watch his stuff because it's, it takes a while, but it's really good. But Grant in that had said that Chase Elliott's speed at the Bristol night race last year was actually the only one that was incredibly close to Kyle Larson's. And Larson, I believe, is qualifying earlier than Elliott is. And those that qualify earlier tend to start in the back. It's going to be more than likely not like last year, unfortunately. I loved last year with the tire wear and just that was just fun to watch. But I don't think we're going to have that this year. I think we're going to have probably more on par with the night race, maybe a little better. But I think that he is someone who's supremely underrated going into this. For those who didn't see last night, the picks for the Cup race, I had Elliott. Carson had Chase Briscoe. Danny had Hamlin. Chat, you guys get Kyle Larson. It's a great pick still. and Eric has Christopher Bell. So I think all 5 of those could win that race. Will Ty Gibbs win a race this season? At this point, I feel like you just need to consistently get Ty Gibbs back in the top 10 again. I feel like that needs to be the deal now. Let's see. What do you think of them putting down the PJ1? I believe that's not the same compound they put down last year and a couple of the good races, because they put the resin down for ones that we generally thought were better. I just wish we could go to Bristol. I have a video coming out tomorrow about the race that changed Bristol nowadays, and it has everything to do with that spring Bristol race in 2012. That race was, by Bristol standards, so boring, but it had tons of side-by-side racing, different lanes used, things like that. And ever since then, we've been chasing old Bristol. It's going to be the same of what we've seen before. Early in the race, the bottom line is going to be the way to go. Then they're just going to venture up to the top, and it's fun. I loved it in 2019 when I was at the night race, but I feel like there's got to be a better way to do it. Yeah, last year they had the resin. That's what I thought. Looking at the super chats here, let's see. John Berg for the 5 says, who's your biggest surprise driver so far? I could make a case for John Hunter Nemechek. I can make a case for him too. On the bad side, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs has surprised me in the most negative way this year. Like, I picked Ty Gibbs and I picked Carson Hocevar to make the playoffs, and both of them are pretty low in the points. Difference is Hocevar has shown real speed and had just terrible luck. Priest is another one. I see an Apparition fan in the chat. Blue Jimmy saying the same thing. Priest is definitely another one who surprised me in a good way. But Gibbs is the biggest one on the negative. Let's see. Keselowski, Summer Saint. Keselowski actually did. I thought he was going to have a fall off. The end of last year, the speed wasn't there. And it's just continued into this year. Let's see. Jimmy Leo's here. Says, hi, Jarrett. I got good news for the truck race tomorrow night. Rain early, then remaining cloudy with showers in the afternoon. That's what I heard too. I know if it rains, what I've also heard is that, if it does rain and it rains out, because of how much stuff's on Saturday, the truck race will probably be put Sunday morning as the backup plan. But that's just the backup plan for now. No NWP today? Nope. We do those Wednesday night. So check Eric's channel this coming Wednesday. We'll have Ellie Productions on that one. And then the next Wednesday, I think the 23rd, we have our buddy John Ramos coming on. John's got a lot of fun stuff coming up too. Let's see. Bubba Wallace, round of 8 this year. I think he's a quiet contender for that. Bubba Wallace could be taken out in the round of 16 or make it all the way to the round of 8. And at that point, with Talladega there, anything can happen. Honestly, I'll say this. With Talladega in the round of 8, because I know there's, I believe, Vegas and Martinsville, of course. He's not bad at Vegas. Ran all right at Martinsville, just saying. But Talladega, not gonna lie, if Bubba makes it to the round of 8, he has just as much of a chance as anyone out there of making the Final Four. Now, I don't think he'd win it, but he could definitely run pretty damn well. I just got a text from John, by the way. I'm sure he's okay with me putting this on screen. John just caught a bass. AKA IDK player caught a bass. Asking me when we're going fishing. I got to figure out when we're going fishing because I got my rod and reel already out. I wonder. I don't know. I think in a bit I might need, not right now. I know she's watching, but not right now. But maybe in a bit I might have Risk come in here and help me out with some stuff, and you can ask her some questions too. Not at the moment, but she might be able to help me too. Maybe I can show some stuff off that I've taken out. Because in the corner, I have I have sheet metal. One of them's from 2019, I believe, at Chicagoland. Me and my brother got from a truck race where there's a crash. And then I have a Stacy Compton one from 2000. I believe it was from Talladega. I got a lot of crazy stuff out right now. Like I have the hat that I got signed by Dale Jr. the first time I met him. Um, fun story here. I met Dale Jr. in 2018. And when I met him, it was when we had just confirmed we were going to have Bobby Allison on NWP. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, um, you know, I'm interviewing Bobby Allison. What should I ask him? Like, what's something that like you would think to ask him? And he's like, ask him about like what he thought of my dad and the rivalry and stuff. So if you go back, yes, Napa Racing fan. This was before Slide Job. This was early. This was in my first 6 months of being like on YouTube full time, basically. And so if you go back and watch that interview, I think it's on Eric's channel. If you go back and watch that interview, I ask him that question. I say a friend from the show because I didn't want to say who it was because at the time we were trying to get him on, just we weren't there yet. Where's it at? The prehistoric era. Before Dale Jr. had ever been up in the booth for Cup full time. But yeah, that question came from him. At some point, I would love to get Dale on. I feel like it'd be a little difficult. Probably everybody wants Dale Jr. on their show, so it's not like oh yeah, I'll just be at the front of the line. But at that point, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I remember because I'd asked him if he'd be on. He's like, yeah, card, and I'm like, shit, I didn't think I'd get this far. And he's like, come on, boy, you need card. In the same cadence as the Slide Job, he was like, get this boy a card. And Mike Davis hand me a card. I still have that card somewhere. I don't know where I have it, but I still have that somewhere. It got like stuck in one of the boxes while I was packing. But it was a cool deal. It was really cool. It was cool meeting, my hero growing up and being able to like include him in some way as part of the show. Obviously he probably never watched it. He probably never saw it. He's he probably drove off and he's like, that dumbass thinks he's getting Bobby Allison on the show. I would not blame him for it. Maybe he did. Who knows? This is the thing for anyone. And I say these in all my Q&As, I give little YouTube advice because I know there's always people watching that like want to at some point get on and talk about racing or sports or Pokemon, you name it. Like they want to talk about anything. And I'll say this, get on, make videos, do live streams, all that. You never know who's watching though. If you think somebody might've seen it at some point, they probably have. So I'm just saying that now. I'm saying that right now. Definitely get on, but just know anyone can see it. And if they're in your industry or if they're in your field, they probably have. I'm not a Pokemon guy. I just know a few people that have gone that direction before. Let's see. I see Riss in the chat. Let's see what else we got. I kind of derailed it with that story. I ramble and do storytelling a lot. Let's see. Cool thing about Dale Jr. is he'd probably be willing to go on NWP. I mean, if Steve Phelps was willing, Dale Jr. probably is too. Maybe. That was an awesome one. The Steve Phelps interview was like 8 months in the making. And with it started in 2019. And then from there, it was on an email tag. We'd get a date down. It'd be like the night of that he was supposed to be on. And then like with COVID happening and testing for the next gen and so many other things, he's busy and he shouldn't prioritize us. Like that's not his job. And we finally got it. We got it set up. It's funny because everyone's wearing their nice shirts, and then there's me in a damn Jocko Flacco t-shirt, and he recognized it at least. So I thought that was pretty cool. But really good. It's like a thing I have to say is like you have to separate when it comes to the people that are like the faces in NASCAR. You have to separate the face and what they do and the person, because Steve Phelps, I think, is a great person. I can't speak highly enough of Steve Phelps. As what he does in the sport, I honestly think he's doing a pretty good job. I think he gets more hate than he deserves. Is there things that I think he's done wrong? Yeah, there are, and I'm sure he's heard that from people, people way more important than me. But at the same time, like, there are a lot worse people as people that could be running your sport, and there's a lot more people out there that could be complete buffoons and not know what they're doing. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff he's done and the outreach and everything like that, I really don't think he's done a bad job. Like, I'd give him a B probably. And I know it sounds, people like, oh, you're shilling and all that, but it's true, Um, there there's a lot worse people. I mean, look at Roger Goodell in the NFL and how he runs that. It's terrible, and the Silver, I think it is, in the NBA. And then baseball, all I hear is how bad the people running it are. And then from people who are positive about the sport. So I think as NASCAR fans, we could have it a lot worse. Any advice for small NASCAR YouTubers? The big thing is there's a few big things. One, you gotta love doing it. You gotta love what you're talking about. You gotta love the sport. You gotta love your section of it. So if like you're into diecasts, you gotta love diecasts and want to explore that and talk to people about it. If it's news or history, be passionate about it. Because that's the thing is, like, there's been a few times where like I've just done videos just for the hell of it, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I guess people might like this, and like I've had people tell me they're like, yeah, that kind of seemed like fake. And I appreciate that. If you love live streaming and you want to talk to people like we are right now, do it. Don't get discouraged by numbers, because every single one of those numbers is a real person who is watching you, who's giving their time to you. The other part is, just find ways to differentiate yourself. You might do stuff that's similar to somebody else, but then over time you end up learning different things that make it uniquely and kind of quirkily yours. Um, those would be really big things. I would do it. Don't go into it for money. Even if you're a really big YouTuber in a community like this, you're not, rolling it at the Ritz. You're not going to be, a multi-millionaire if your channel has like 10,000 subscribers. Don't do it for the money, because if you're doing it for the money, when times get tough, you're just going to get pissed off and just put it down because you're not getting enough money, anything like that. Money's nice. That's great. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that this is my job. I love it because I have my dream job talking about the sport that I grew up loving and all of that. But it's so cliche, but a lot of the people you meet along the way, it's a huge part, because you can make so many good friendships, connections. If it wasn't for this channel and the connections I made in the sport and the friends I made in the sport and on YouTube and all of that, I know for a fact, at least not the way I did, maybe not at all. I know for a fact I wouldn't have met Riss. I know for a fact I wouldn't have met Eric and Danny and John and all the people I talk to on a weekly basis. Um, those are the important things about it. And if you do it alone, do it alone, but enjoy the people that are there. Every one of those accounts, every one of those numbers as a view or a viewer or any of that, those are all people. Don't lose sight of that. It's not a game. These are people. Alex left here. Sorry, I'm just going down, so I might be behind on what a lot of people are saying. Says, with everything going on right now, my wish is to have NASCAR return to having 1/18th scale diecasts. Has another nail in that coffin. Yeah, we'll talk about the Lionel stuff in a moment, I promise. There's a lot to talk about there. Again, another place with good people, just bad situations overall. And I I appreciate all the kind words as well. It does mean a lot. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the comment section or the chat, by the way, just to make sure that we I get everything. So I'm just looking through. Sorry. I apologize if I'm like getting really quiet. I'm just making sure I'm looking at that. I mean, I guess we can talk about the um the Lionel stuff. Just because that's been a big talking point this week. We made a video, or I made a video about it earlier in the week, and it's just a lot of people were like, this is the big problem, the price increases because of the tariffs, all of that. But I kind of see it as just another hit, man. I just see it as another punch, because I think as diecast collectors and as fans in general, yeah, I mean, 155, Jesus. Um, I think that it's insane, the amount of money that people would have to pay for something that over time has gotten less and less good. Is, less quality to it, less good. There's less people buying now, which just obvious. NASCAR fandom has kind of dwindled over the last 20 years compared to where it was. But it's just, yeah, no politics on this. Like, I don't care about the politics. I care about the diecast. I know that politics are the cause of it, but I don't want to debate your take on tariffs and trade wars and all that shit. Doesn't matter to me. Don't care. I don't come on here to talk politics. 200 plus people watching. Y'all don't come on here just to hear somebody that has no qualification probably to talk about politics, talk about it. When it comes to the diecasts now, it's just, it's why bother is kind of what I think. And I've thought that even before the tariff and the increases and all of that. I think I said it last night on the show, that I had stopped buying on a regular basis NASCAR diecast after Dale Earnhardt Jr. retired. I'm a big Dale Jr. fan. We got a bunch of them in 2017. I'm looking at the boxes. I have a big ass pile that's over halfway to the ceiling now. It's a tower of diecasts. I think I between that and the other ones, man, I have to have at least of just 124 scales over 100. That's not even to mention the 164s that I'm sure those are going to go up. But there's been so many misprint issues. The quality of them now, like the quality of like an elite scale diecast, like when you buy it off the website and it says that, there's like the scale that a normal one was back in the day, but the price is way higher. And I see that, because I came back into it in 2021, and I see the change in 4 years. And the first thing I said is, why bother? I'm going to go to vendor tents at the racetrack. I'm going to go on eBay and find cheap ones that are really good. Um, I if there's a really good one, I'd want it. And I'm not, I get diecast as presents. Like I know the Dale Jr. late model, the number 8 Bud car, is going to be on the way in the next month or two for me. That was my Christmas present from my mom, but that's another thing. It takes 6-7 months to get the damn things out, if they even come out. Because so many of them get canceled too. Like the cancel list just gets longer and longer and longer. And so my thinking of it, because I'm not a fan of really anyone out there, and like as a fan of Dale Jr., your scheme is almost never going to get canceled unless like something major happens behind the scenes. But now, like if I want to get a Christopher Bell diecast, like I don't know if those are going to make it. Why would I put the money forth? I'm just going to keep the money now and spend it on stuff that I actually need, to get. I'm going to spend it on groceries. I'm going to spend it on my move. I'm going to spend it on my kid that's on the way. I'm going to spend it on, equipment for the channel. Like why would I in any way want to dump $100, 150, whatever it is, to have it shipped too, and you add in all that? Like, why would I spend all that money if I don't even know I'm going to get it? And I get it. You get the money back and, all that. I get that. But I don't, I get collectors or diehards. They need every scheme, all of that. Full respect to it. Everybody has their deal, but I'm not a collector. I'm just a normal fan. I'm just somebody who likes to get cool paint schemes as diecast. I got like the Alex Bowman 21 Nashville car over there. I'm like, look at the ones I have. I have like a Curtis Turner diecast my dad got me, Kyle Larson's 21 Watkins Glen win, the Gen X car for Harvick, Carl Edwards 2011 Aflac car, Dale Jr.'s Richmond Xfinity car in 2021, and Michael McDowell's Daytona 500 winner. Like I like those cars, and I got them. Most of those, if they weren't a present, I did not get them at retail price. I got them lower somewhere else. I'm just not gonna spend the money either. Like diecasts that are older, generally, if they're pretty good ones, they'll go up in price. Like, Dale Earnhardt's last one. I have two of those in part because I know if at any point I need some money, like the price of Dale Earnhardt's last win diecast with everything like the confetti and the money added in for the no bowl that they put into the box. Like I know at one point, if like I need to sell one of those off, or if I need to do like a giveaway or something, like that's going to be like a prized possession for somebody to buy. But like the ones now, like I don't see those appreciating in price ever. I only see them going down. Like I would see like a William Byron diecast this year in 10 years, no matter what he does, unless he is just, like insane and wins, 7 championships, every Daytona 500, goes over and wins an F1 championship the same year as a NASCAR one and is worldwide famous. Like that diecast is not going to cost 120, 150, whatever dollars in 2034, 2035. It's going to cost probably $20, $30, or whatever the inflation raises it to. That's the equivalent. So that's kind of my long-winded way of talking about it. I get it's, not everyone's interested in that. A lot of people are like, oh, you're complaining about your toy cars, but it's like, people have a right to have something to collect and have memorabilia. Like we don't hear people saying the same thing about like when people are like jersey price increases in football or basketball. People are like, oh, that really sucks. The jersey price went up. Like these are the equivalent of jerseys. Like those crew shirts are nice and all, but like diecasts are the equivalent of collecting jerseys in football, baseball, basketball, you name it, like that, and the stick and ball side of it. For racing fans, these are our jerseys. This is what represents our team. And it just kind of sucks that normal fans for the most part have gotten priced out of something that's not worth the price it was before. It sucks, but that's just sort of the way it goes. I don't think there's a single fix either. I really don't. I think that you might have a fix in the future. Or there might be a lot of fixes in the future, but there's not one single one. Oh man. Lord, I talk a lot. Let's see what else we got in here. There's a lot of, let's see. What is your rarest diecast? Mine is the 1997, is it Suzuka? Dale Sr. or 2014 MIS Kids Club cars. What is my rarest? Oh, there's an ant. Ugh, yuck. Yes, professional yapper, that's for sure. I don't even know what my rarest one would be. I'd have to check. I have like I have a Matt Kenseth 2003 champion one in the original box it came in. The last Winston Cup champion. I'm putting that one on screen, Riss. That might count as one. I have Dale Earnhardt's 1990 champion one. Jeff Gordon. I have a lot of 90s ones now. Because I like to collect the ones that score the most points at the end of the year. Not that they're like, not like that they're the true champion, obviously, with the point system, blah, blah, blah. We've went through this talk already. But I like kind of appreciating greatness. I like appreciating who was overall the best in a year. So, I guess a lot of the champion ones from there that were the champions, I have Jimmy Johnson 2006 and 2009 champion diecast. I have like one with the tethers, like Jeff Gordon's 2005 Daytona 500 one. I have a lot of Dale Jr. ones. But that's the thing. In terms of like value or production numbers, I don't know. I honestly, I'm not that far in the weeds with it. I'm like looking at my pile and seeing which ones I got in there. I don't know. Uh, I was thinking, because I want to film some stuff before this summer because I know that I'm not going to have as much time, especially first week or two of June, to make videos. So I wanted to kind of film a few things in advance. I'm thinking I might do my entire NASCAR memorabilia collection, like an hour-long video where I just cover everything. I'd do it probably when we move to the new place. But I'd have the sheet metal I have, the die cast, signed hats. Like Danny got me a Dale Jr. rookie banner. Hang this banner. Dale Jr. rookie Budweiser banner from 2000 that was made at the time that is the size like from the floor to the ceiling of this wall in this room. Of that, actually right behind me, I have a Goodyear tire that I believe was tested on Danica Patrick's car in 2012. I want to say, I think it was 2012 or 11. I got a ton of different stuff. I have so much NASCAR stuff and so much. A lot of people like so much NASCAR crap. Yeah, I used Riss's Budweiser jacket, which I believe is a 2002. I think we carbon dated that one. I have a 2008 Amp Energy jacket that was made and like ordered before even like a majority of the schemes were out that year. I have so it was '02. I have a ton of autographs because I have these autograph books I made for Chicagoland every year, being in the infield. And so I'd get computer paper and I'd like make the number, and then when Sharpie marker for like 100 pages, make like everyone in the Cup Series, people I liked in Xfinity and trucks. I even made a page for Mike Helton to sign at one point, which is really cool. Because I think he did sign one of them. So I got a lot of those. I have media passes from races I was at. I have tickets. I have printed out tickets for Dale Jr.'s win at Michigan when he broke the streak. I have the printed out ticket from Jeff Gordon's final win because I was there at that one. Because it's harder to, you can print out tickets now, but like you don't have the stubs, right? But I have like the stubs for those. I have the ones from 2000. I have the one from 2006, my first race that I went with my dad for Father's Day in 2006. That's Greg Biffle on it because he was the winner the year before. He said he'd dig it out, but I could share. My grandpa somewhere in his basement has the ticket stub from the 1998 Daytona 500 because he attended it, which is freaking awesome, man. I'm so jealous. I wish I could have went to that race. So there's plenty of stuff that I would love to share that I have. And obviously the diecast collection will be a big one. I mean, the video would probably end up being 2 hours long at this point. The more I think about it, I have so much stuff. Yeah, program books from all of those different races. Because I've been, I think now, because I'm gonna do a tier list of every race I've been to. Because I think I've been to 50 Cup races alone. I counted it out a while ago. It was like somewhere like 49, 50 Cup races I've been to, like 40 something Xfinity races, 30 something truck races, a bunch of ARCA races. Like I've been to a lot of different races over the years. A good bulk of them coming because of media and because of this channel and meetups and everything like that. So there's definitely a lot that I could bring out. There's some stuff I have that I probably never mentioned before that would be really interesting to talk about. So there's a story behind every single one of them. So there is that. Bailey Reichert says, underrated scheme, Tony's black and white Home Depot. Underrated schemes. Probably the Jeff Burton Prilosec car. And then also the Clint Boyer in 2009. This thing, I'm not a huge fan of the COT, like in its original design. I like the 2011 and 2012 COT. Was not a fan of the 07 to early 2010 ones. And then the rest of 2010, where it had the normal, like original front splitter, but then the spoiler on the back. It was just a weird year. But I like a lot of the COT schemes. And I think that the COT was very good at schemes being made. And good schemes at that. I hold no nostalgia really for that car. And it's not because like Dale Jr. sucked when they raced that car. There were still some really good races. I just think it was an ugly car. I got a lot of hate on Spotify for that one. There's a professional hater of mine on Spotify who dislikes everything I say every week. And I find it hysterically funny. Speaking of Spotify, by the way, for those who are on there a lot, there was an issue. I just want to say for NWP, and I'll talk about this for sure on the show Wednesday, just because I want to address it. There was an issue with Spreaker where they emailed me that there'd be ads put on the Spotify and all the audio ones, and I think there's an issue with the Apple side of it too. I don't know what the issue is there. Working on it, but they put ads every 5 to 10 minutes on the Spotify one. And they put 2 or 3 ads at a time. And so I counted, and there were 56 ads in not ad breaks, just ads total in a 3-hour show. I managed to get it down to, I think, 3 during it, and then some pre-roll, mid-roll, and back roll or whatever. I'm trying to get it down more, but I was livid when I saw it. And there were people that were DMing me about it, and of course comments on there. And I feel terrible because I'm like, no, I'm not cashing in on any of this. I'm not getting I'm not getting money at all, from that. So it was insane. It was absolutely insane. So, I mean, if we get it monetized on the audio side, I'm fine putting an ad every 45 minutes to an hour, just, to get a little money out of it. Cause it takes a lot of money and effort to keep the audio side going, even more, I think, than the YouTube side at this point. And I'm fine because I know people listen to it that way, and I want as many people to listen to it as possible. But I feel bad for that. So for any of you that listen on the Spotify side and were bombarded with ads in the last week, I don't know what it is. Because I don't have it monetized. So I can't place ads if I don't have it monetized. I'm going to go in and fully investigate it this weekend and figure out the actual problem. But we'll just roll from there. Yeah, so I can't manually place ads. No, because I didn't monetize it. That's the problem. If I monetize it, I'd be able to go in and put the ads where I want them. Let's see. I think a few more super chats rolled in. Gavin for the 5 says, I'm not sure what the rarest car I have is, but my favorite is Larson's 2021 title win. It was the first time a driver I rooted for won a championship. Hey, man, if my driver won a championship, I'd be pretty happy to have that car too. So nope, don't blame me at all. Alex says, favorite movie paint scheme. Mine is the 2009 Kyle Busch Optimus Prime car. That was a good one. That was a very good one. Favorite movie one. The Dark Knight Rises. Because I was there for that win and it was awesome. Even though that's probably really chalk for people. And I know I've said it before, the running joke people have is that car looks like, if you look at the Batman logo on the front, because it's all spread out, it looks like a giant seagull turd from far away. And it's kind of true. I don't care though. That day was awesome. That race was awesome for me. They can say what they want. I don't care. Let's see. Blue Jimmy says, I know it's not movie themed, but I really love the Muppets cars from 2002. That's the thing. I have all of those Muppet cars, diecasts. I think every single one of those. Plus even some ones they made that weren't on track too. Like I got the full collection as a gift when I was a kid. Um, so that'll be in there. You know, I got the cool thing too, if I do a memorabilia video, is that I actually have um like all the NASCAR illustrated magazines from like 2006 to through 2007. I have a bunch of the NASCAR preview ones, whether it's like Athlon or Sports Illustrated. I have I have one like I think it was made by MTV, and it's all about Dale Jr. and like life in the fast lane and the NASCAR's Playboy and all that. Um, I read through it like a year or two ago, and I'm like, how the hell did a 7-year-old be gifted this? It's like there's literally an entire section that goes on for like 20 pages, and it's just beautiful women is what it's called, and it's just a bunch of women that Dale Jr.'s posed with, including like posing in Playboy with like a bunch of models. Like it's crazy, because I didn't know what it meant. I was 7, but I look at it now and I'm just like, damn, I that was a welcome surprise. Somewhere, by the way, let's see. Do you miss the GameStop cars? Yes, those cars always were really just top of the line. Somewhere, it might be in my office, it might be at my parents' house. Somewhere, I have my dad's old NASCAR '98 computer game, and it was the disc because back then you didn't download them on the computer. Back in the '97, '98, you had to have the disc. And so somewhere I have that game just sitting around. I've played it before. It's very simple. But I have that game laying around somewhere. Um, but I don't know where I put it. Let's see. Is there a NASCAR video game sponsor you'd like to see in NASCAR that hasn't been run yet? This thing, I'm not a huge video game guy, contrary to belief. I talk about the NASCAR games, but that's because it's NASCAR games and I grew up with that. Um, that's the thing. I don't really have a big one that I would really want. I remember back in the day on NASCAR Inside Line when they had the paint booth, I designed a Walking Dead game car. And had like uh because I didn't want to put the what do you call it? The details in for the characters. So I had like silhouettes of like Lee and Clementine and Kenny and Carly and like all of them from the first game. And so like I guess that'd be cool because that's my favorite game ever. Uh, but I GTA would be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean that just writes itself. But there's not really that many that I'd want to. What was that game that's where's it at? It's a dinosaur game. And what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but there's a game coming out, or might have already come out, where you play as a young T-Rex in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, and the adult T-Rex is a samurai. And it's like it's the craziest freaking premise, but it looks so realistic. And I would love to see that on a car, like a samurai T-Rex. Um, it just mixes my two nerdums together of dinosaurs and NASCAR. Um, you know, like I saw today, there was the trailer for the new Walking with Dinosaurs. For anyone that grew up with that, like in 2000 or 1999 was when the first one came out. Not the movie. We don't watch that. Oh, thank you. Riz is coming in and telling me. Um, but like I would love to have like a Walking with Dinosaurs car from back in the day. I know not many people watch the same stuff I did, even though I know it was really big over in it was really big over in Britain back then. It wasn't as big in America. It's still big, but not as big. Let's see what else. Yeah, Riss has the name for us. Riss came in like, you dumbass. Fun fact: did you know that in 2010, Casey Kane ran a Toyota in the Nationwide Series? He ran a few races. I don't know what team. Had Evernham font and was McDonald's car. Yes, I did know that. Let's see. Alexander says for the 10 here, this is going to be random, but I really want to see Hermie Sadler drive the Trackhouse Project 91 car at Richmond and Martinsville, Virginia, and the Virginia Lottery or WWE as his sponsors. I think his driving days are far behind him, but that would be actually really cool. That would actually be really, really cool. He'd probably run last, though. We need an Xfinity race at Iowa called the Iowa Corn 350, and then have local Slipknot open for it. I'd be down with that. What's his name? I think it's Mike Beto. He's a music channel, but he reviews like the top 10 on Spotify for like metal or pop or whatever. And he had put a new Corn song on. I'm like, it's actually like, I know it's like kind of all sounds the same, but it's actually like really good still. Like I really like it. A cup race is the Freak on a Leash 400. Yes, that was the first Corn song I ever heard before. Because back in the mid 2000s, what I had, let's see, I had my iPod that you'd have to hook up to the computer to download all the songs, and I don't think my dad realized, or my mom, or one, it might have been both of them. They didn't realize they had downloaded all of their music onto my phone or my iPod at the time. And Korn was on there. Right. And so I was like, nice. I like this. And you know, I liked a lot of the songs. That's actually when I found that one again, that's actually how I found my favorite metal band and my favorite modern band, Avenged Sevenfold, because my dad had Backcountry on his iPod. They got onto my iPod. And then when I found that iPod like 5 years later and listened to it again, I remember because it was 2013 and it was Easter weekend down in Arkansas. And we went back to the hotel early on Saturday. And so I'd plugged in my iPod before going to bed. And I just hear, "He who makes a beast out of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man," and the scream from M Shadows. And I'm just like, I'm hooked. So Avenged Sevenfold, I know a lot of people, again, like I talked about earlier, there's all these people that hate different bands and metal and all that back and forth. And I don't really fall into that just because there's a lot of really good bands out there. Like I love Volbeat. Back, was it last year? I think it was when Eric came into town. It was either last year or the year before. I think it might have been the year before, but Eric came over and we watched the Xfinity race here. I did the post race and Eric came on and kind of like, I gave him like 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the end just to chill and talk. And as like a surprise to everybody. And afterwards we left and we went out, and yeah, I agree, JC. I don't know the names, by the way. So don't ask me like my favorites, because I'm terrible with song names until I listen to them 1,000 or 100,000 times. But we drove out to Dave and Buster's out in Nashville, and we were listening to Volbeat a bit, and we're like, we always know who they are because the singer sounds just very unique. You can always tell a Volbeat song. I like Avenged Sevenfold, but I always enjoyed Disturbed more. Like both though. I love Disturbed too. I remember my dad showed me when I was like 10 Down with the Sickness, and I'm like, you listen to this? And now I listen to it and I'm like, this pumps me up when I'm about ready to like, run a marathon, or when I used to play football. Like Down with the Sickness was the first song I would listen to. Korn always was on there. I'll obviously keep the politics out of it, because I don't care about I don't want to talk about the politics side. But I remember when I met former Governor Mike Huckabee, he's a bass player, and he had played bass before with the members of Korn. And like, so I'm just talking metal with a random former governor, I believe governor, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just the wildest experience to talk about that. It's crazy through the years, like whether it be people from the news, whether it be people that were politicians or celebrities, like it's crazy thinking about the amount of people over the years I've met. Um, it's not like I don't mean it in any way to be like, bragging. It's just more like it's just really cool. Yeah, Three Doors Down. That was my first concert. It was Three Doors Down with Pop Evil and Theory of a Dead Man opening. And it was awesome. I believe, just turned 14. I think it was 2011. So I just turned 14 and I was grinning ear to ear the whole time. It was so damn cool. And let's see. First concert was Power Man 5000. Nice. I just heard them. One of their songs, can't remember which one it was. One of their songs has been going around YouTube Shorts a bunch. I was just like going through there. I don't get me wrong. Like I'll listen to other genres. Like, I grew up like when I'd be in the car with my grandparents and country was always played. I'm not as much, metal is my number one, but I'll listen to country. Trust me, if you hang out around John, you're listening to country or classical music from the 40s, which I also listened to a lot growing up. Nice. Metallica. I like it. Yeah, I saw 3 Days Grace with my cousin Carson. Her and I went, and 3 Days Grace opened up for Disturbed, which was really cool to see. Let's see. Thoughts on Kid Rock, music-wise. Music-wise, like, I like Kid Rock. I have like 4 or 5 of his songs on my phone, and I'll put them on during the summer. His music to me doesn't matter if it's the old stuff or the new stuff. Like for me, is always a summer vibe for me. Like for me, it's like that kind of rock, especially the newer ones. Like I say newer, like it's 2010, 11. I put those on in the summer. Yeah, that's right. Toby Keith was on the "I Love NASCAR" song. It was a parody of his song "I Love This Bar," and oh god, I can't remember who was the original one, but he had a verse talking about because it came out in like 2003 for context, and Toby Keith was singing the part about Dale Earnhardt, and I love that song, man. I'll listen to that song on repeat. But I love Toby Keith too. My grandparents, they had Toby Keith on in the car a lot. And I love Toby Keith. Like his music for me like defined summers as a kid for me growing up. Damn near drove my dad crazy because we drove out in the summer of 05 from we drove from Illinois up through Wisconsin and Minnesota and over into South Dakota so we could get to the far end of Montana. I believe it was the far end. It might have been Montana, if any end of it is the far end to get to. If you've ever driven through Montana, you'll know what I mean. And I believe they were playing like the one "I Ain't As Good As I Once Was," and it was playing all the time. And then there was like one other, but it was like the same 2 Toby Keith songs were playing on every single radio station, basically, as we drove from Illinois all the way through Montana. And my dad, I think at one point, was like, "Can we just turn the Toby Keith off for like an hour?" And I don't blame him because if I have to hear the same songs over and over again, I think I did that to him when I was like 3 with the Wiggles too, driving out of Florida. But let's see. It says you love the video, but roots for the Lions. Teach your own. I knew I had to talk a little trash with Carson last night, but he's cool. I'm sure he's cool with it. Yeah. Fruit salad. Yep. Have you ever seen the Wiggles actually posted it? It was fruit salad, but it was mixed with Slipknot. And the Wiggles actually posted it as on their Facebook page because somebody made a mashup of it. And it is the greatest mashup you'll ever see of 2 songs. If I wasn't gonna get copyrighted, I'd put it. Like, if you look up The Wiggles Slipknot, and it's just a mix of Psychosocial from Slipknot and Fruit Salad from The Wiggles, and it's the greatest thing. I think I is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Um, I absolutely love it. Yes, yeah, yes, that's right. There's Riss, said it's called Psycho Salad. I'm gonna listen to that tonight. My kid's old enough, I'm showing her that. Just because I can. Um, I remember, because my parents, we always managed to talk about Arthur and the Wiggles when I go back up if they come down here for a while. And, and there's the one that they had, because there was like a Wiggles tape that they'd put on for me, and there's this one song on it that's basically like just an acid trip. I mean, if you watch it, it's like these weird puppets and colors everywhere and just crazy ass stuff. It's absolutely nuts. Um, we are so far off the NASCAR path at this point, which is so funny to me. Um, yeah, let's see. There's a YouTuber that made Black Betty by Ram Jam, but in the style of AC/DC. Yeah, there's this one dude, I can't remember what his name is, but he'll sing songs and he'll do like this song in the version of 30 different artists. Um, and it's yes, I get that. It's like, but it's really good. It's really good because he can do a lot of these different voices. Like he'll do I don't like do Bohemian Rhapsody in a style of 30 different artists. And it started like Queen, and then it like start singing it like Prince, and then do like Avenged Sevenfold's version. And then like the next line is like he sings it like Robert Plant singing a Led Zeppelin song. It's so cool. My dad sends me him all the time, and I love him. Actually, I love my dad, but I love the stuff he sends me of that. Show the baby. I can only count to 4. Oh yes, yes. At a certain age, yes. Uh, and yes, Rockingham weekend. I'm hyped as well. I'm very very hyped for that. That's a fun one in so many ways. I just hope people are patient because I believe it's been repaved. I'm pretty sure Eric put a video out where he drove on it. I last I heard they were pretty damn close to selling it out. There's a lot of people there. We got to show up on TV. I'll say this, getting back to the NASCAR side of it. We got to show up on TV for the Rockingham weekend. I want NASCAR to know that we need to keep Rockingham back. Let this track wear out. I want to see that uh, happen so bad. I want to see Rockingham in Cup so bad. We got Casey Kane out of retirement from NASCAR. Damn it, we can show up and watch old Blue Eyes, as they used to call him. Let's see. Do you smell what the Rockingham is cooking? Yes, I do. I'm not a big WWE guy, so any reference I'm probably not going to get. I got that one though. I feel like Captain America. I understood that one. I got that one. But yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I'm excited for the truck race, but I think the Xfinity race could be really, really damn awesome. Let's see. I love everyone's still talking about their favorite childhood shows. Thoughts on Katherine Legge coming back? I hope she gets a fair shot. You know, she's gonna be in a Jordan Anderson car. It's a better car than she was in before. Um, I hope she gets a fair shot. Let's see how she can do in a full race with the car that can compete. I love the guys from Live Fast, you know, guys and gals, but um, that is not a car to prove yourself in. That is a car to just survive and come home 5 laps down in. Let's see. Should I go to Rockingham? I live like 45 minutes away, but no one to go with. Still debating. Okay. For the longest time, I said I never want to go to a race alone. I see no point in it. And then I ended up going to a couple races alone. I went to Richmond alone. I ended up having to go to Talladega alone. That was when I saw Bubba Wallace win in person. A couple others. I think I've went to 3 or 4 races just on my own. And I never thought I would do that. Honestly, it's really fun. You just set your own schedule. You don't got to meet anyone anywhere. If you know people that are going to be there, you can meet with them, but then you can just go whenever you want. You're not in a group. You're not waiting for somebody who might be new to it. I think every NASCAR fan at some point should go to a race on their own. You know, I've went to races on my own in the media center and in the stands, and both of which awesome. You know, I know a lot of people obviously go in the media center. But I'd never, amazingly, a couple years in, until I was at the race with where Chastain and Gragson had their fight on pit road at Kansas. That was the first race I'd ever covered in the media center on my own. Because I'd always managed to be at the same races as, you know, Eric or Danny, and, you know, you name it. Like, I always knew somebody I was going with. So absolutely go for it. But I'd get them quick, because tickets, I don't know how many tickets are left, but it ain't many. I would not be surprised if in the next day or so, mark my words on this, I would not be surprised if in the next day or so they announce a sellout for at least the Xfinity side of it, maybe not both. So get them quick. Because I went to North Wilkesboro the first year they had it back with the All-Star race. And, you know, I had trouble at the hotel, got stuck at the hotel like for an extra 3 hours. So I had to show up about a half hour to an hour into the truck race. And I walked across that bridge that they're renovating, you know, over the highway to get to my, you know, to the track and get to my seat. And it was like a picture straight out of like the 1970s. It was insane. Anthony Vincent is the 30-second song guy. That's right. Thank you, Blake. Anthony Vincent. That's who it was. Look him up too. This is the thing, is like, I always talk NASCAR, and I generally like to keep the podcast, post-race videos, guest appearances anywhere, like keep it on task, because most people come out to see NASCAR. These Q&As, though, we can go off on a huge tangent on random stuff on any different direction. So like, I'm just kind of telling you guys like my tastes and YouTubers to follow and different stuff like that from outside of NASCAR. That's why I said, like, last night I had a lot of people in the comments, you know, getting on me about different things. Some of it just, you know, kind of taking the piss, having fun with it, but others like actually like getting on me. Because when we're on different channels, I've noticed that people who don't recognize the other two hosts on a particular channel tend to be a little more harsh to them, which is fine. You know, I don't care. I'm a big boy on the internet. But it's like, I had to like make it a point at one point to say, like, guys, I have a life outside of YouTube and NASCAR. Like, surprisingly, I do. And I love shooting the shit about it, man. Alex Luff says, Thomas the Tank Engine for life. I remember on the podcast, I used to pretend to be a character from that show. That's right. That's right. You did. I remember that. Believe it or not, we do remember things on there, especially when we see people as like the same character a lot. Like, we do remember that a lot. Let's see. Riss says, if you want me to pop in and talk video games, you know I will. I don't know what video games you and I might know together, but I mean, you want to come on in, go for it. In the chat, you guys want to see Riss come on in for a few minutes? Just, I don't know, you can ask her whatever. It's gonna be hard to squeeze us both in here, but you know, I don't know much about video games, but she'd know. I don't know. She might come in. We'll see. That's for her to decide. I know. Yeah, it's just a normal chill stream. It's a different one, I guess. A different chill stream. Let's see. Who do you like in the Masters? I don't follow golf. I believe that's what we're talking about. The Masters. Oh, hi. Let me move stuff out of the way. Here comes Riss. You don't have to stay in all that long.
Okay.
I'm not good. Let me make sure you get through here. That's fine. You can sit here for a minute.
Hi.
Yeah, you might get to there.
Oh goodness. We're sandwiched in here. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear her? That's the big question. You might need to talk a little.
I hope people can hear me. I'm pretty loud.
Yeah, the chat, there'll be a delay, but you'll see.
Okay.
So okay, you can hear.
Okay, awesome. People can hear.
So what? Yeah. Where's
Miss Iceberg White?
Never would have believed this 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think the only video game that you and I have in common that you actually know is The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's the only one.
All right. So what do you want? What she's in here too. You can ask her questions. I mean, I'll pop them on screen. I like the Mrs. Iceberg. I love there's also so you'll see there's also a delay. So Riss, I don't think you've actually ever seen this side of the stream now that the way it is.
No, I haven't.
You've seen the
really confused and like curious about it.
you've seen the OBS side of it. Yeah, what games do you play?
So I have a PC and I play on Switch. Those are the only two ones that I have. But depends. I play a lot of strategy games. You heard me screaming through the walls on my asymmetrical horror games, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Actually, if you've ever heard a muffled like yelling sound in the background, it might be her through the other wall. Let's see. Why are you a Hamlin fan?
Because the first race that you showed me was at Pocono, and I actually really liked it, and it was between either him or Almirola.
So that was Harvick.
No,
the race. I mean,
the
it was
race.
him and Harvick that had went
Oh.
at it.
It was either him or Almirola though. Like that,
Yeah.
I was gonna like pick for my driver.
That was before you even met John.
Yeah.
So John's a huge Almirola fan. You all good?
Yeah, she's
Kidding.
just kicking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So she is the Preggers right now. Yes, it was actually the 2020 double. That's right. Get a lot of, so this is, by the way, this is Denny's new thing.
11 Against the World.
Yeah, it's a ripoff of the it's a ripoff of Ohio State. Because they're against the world thing. Yes, she be kicking.
She be kicking.
No names or anything. We're gonna keep that private. But doing all right.
Doing all right.
How far along now?
31 weeks.
Going on 32 this
Going
weekend?
on 32 on Sunday.
Doing good?
Yes.
She's not just saying that, by the way. Like, trust me. Oh, we'll probably be making a 1 a.m. run to Steak and Shake or something.
Oh, probably.
Let's see. Okay, I see David Bell's in the chat. Have you forgiven Bell for the Daytona 500 crash?
No, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot.
You don't dislike him though.
I don't
He's a good
dislike
dude.
him. Like, I'd probably have a beer with him, not until after June, but I'd probably have a beer with the man. But right now, he needs to redeem himself for what happened to my 500.
He's been kicking ass lately.
He
might
has.
be able, the next race, whenever it is I take you might be able to put on a pretty good show. Let's see. They're calling you my Pookie Bear. No. We are not that kind of couple. We are definitely not this kind of couple.
I really hope we don't look like siblings.
We don't.
No.
See, here's the thing. Like, I'm fully white and like you're like half Asian.
Yeah.
I think we're far enough away in the gene pool.
I really hope we're not related.
What's your Vikings fans? Who's my favorite driver?
Well, right now it's McDowell. When it's not somebody current, it's Mr. Dale Jr.
Yep. This thing you never saw me, just like everyone at home watching on this, unless my parents are watching right now. You've never seen me in my full Dale Jr. like week to week fandom. You've seen me. You saw me like kind of freaking out like a few years ago when Junior was leading at the Xfinity race. I went full fan mode on that. I was like, you want to give a little, because I think we had John over that night too.
I can't remember.
Do you remember what I was doing when Junior took the lead late in the race?
No.
I was pacing around the house under caution because I was so worried if he was going to win or not. And he ended up not winning, because his car caught on fire, and so did his foot. Not the first time that fire has surrounded Junior. Do you ever hear that story?
You've shown me clips.
The 04 one?
Yeah,
okay.
You've shown me clips.
I've filled her in on a lot of that stuff before. Do you two ever watch old races together?
I think every once in a while.
Yeah, I remember we went to the All Time Low concert, and
We stayed up all night watching, I
A
think.
2009 race.
Yeah, it was a 2009 race.
Do you remember the track? Because
No.
okay, I can give the chat a hint. Joey Logano flipped. You were very happy about that. This is the thing. You like Logano's personality. It's not him as a driver. 2009 Dover. I set up watching an old 2009. There it is. Yeah. And actually, this was before Vody had put all his stuff out. So, and I don't get the chat. They all
Just
know
all
what
Dover.
they all know what we're talking about. Yeah, 2009 Dover Fall. Yes. And yes, Jimmy did kick ass that race. So I actually rewatched. And this. This is the thing. You've seen me firsthand do this, but a lot of people out there have not. I will do my own NASCAR side projects that are never meant to be out there, never meant to be in public. And the one that I was doing when I was watching this with her was I was watching through every single race of a season during the Chase era for different years. And I started with 09, then went, I think, 2009, 2008, then 10, 07, 11, 06, 12, 05, and now I'm on 2013, where I go through and I just watch the race and I try and figure out how each race would have played out with like no green, white checkers, no BS to precautions, full season points, all that, just for the hell of it. Literally just for the hell of it. I know some people are like, oh, that's like, let me get this closer. Some people will be like, oh, that's just overboard, but it's just something I do on the side to see, like, it helps me understand how much strategy changes through the years. It's a side project. It's a thing for fun, but it's its own deal. Let's see. I know I've missed a lot of good ones in here. You're a NASCAR historian in a sense, not as much as Slab. It's funny. I'm not going to say what, but it's funny is that her and Slap have a meme chat back and forth. And she actually sends stuff back and forth to Slap more than I do now.
Oh, gosh.
It's funny, but we would totally get canceled at the Instagram memes we send back and forth. If you know what Instagram is like right now.
Shut up.
Andrew Winslow, all hail Plankton. Or that reminds me, last night, the South Park meme where they're reading Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's just Butters kill John Lennon.
You have to give a little bit of context with that, though.
You had brought it up.
Yeah, so I have a very, very old video on my phone of Jarrett whenever he grew out his long, luscious hair. And he turns to a side profile and he goes, "Why do I look like John Lennon?"
I did.
And all you hear is me chanting in the background, "Kill John Lennon." And he goes, "Are you quoting Butters?"
Oh, man. What is some NASCAR lost media you want found? 2010 Elliott Sadler Pocono crash. The one I showed you where he hits the corner, but you don't see any of the crash. And the next thing they show is the entire freaking engine ripped out of the car. I'd remind you, but you know the moments I'm talking about.
Yeah, I also want the ones of, what was it, the black cat that was on the racetrack?
Oh, Mittens.
Mittens.
Poor Mittens.
Poor Mittens.
Yeah, Squidward.
Oh, gosh.
I messed with her. So for those who understand that meme in the NWP sense, Eric brought that up at one point, and then all of us started going, "Yeah, Squidward." Are you gonna head out?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just adjusting. Sorry.
and then and all that. And so for a year, I just would annoy her. It'd be like 3 a.m. We're like trying to fall asleep, and then I just go, "Hey, Riss." You're like, "What?" I'm trying to sleep. I just go, "Yeah, Squidward. Yeah, Squidward."
You had it as your ringtone at one point.
Yeah, I had
just to mess with me.
As my ringtone for you. I'm like, "Hey, Riz, call me," and all she hears is, "Yeah, Squidward." Oh, the fact that she puts up with me. Ooh, that's a good one. The onboard for Jeff Gordon's 2008 Vegas wreck.
Ooh.
You remember that one, the Nicorette car?
I think so.
Because that was the one. I don't know if a lot of people out there know this. That was the one that Jeff Gordon actually almost retired after 2009 because of the arthritis he developed in his back from all of those hits. Like that hit in particular gave him arthritis through the years. Don't make a joke. I know you were about to make a joke.
No, I'm just reading some of these chats.
Oh yeah, yes, Squidward.
Yep, just all of them.
Yes, Squidward. Yes, Squidward. Yes, Squidward. You know, it's the fact that we're basically like all of us on the show and like the YouTuber group that we're in. We're just all
We're
children.
just children.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, that wreck did mess him up though. That was a major one. See, I heard Hendrick burn the footage after he saw it. I wouldn't blame him. I mean, the way that even back then compared to now those cars were, the walls, all the speed. Let's see. Larson for the triple soup. So Larson's racing every race this weekend. Trucks Xfinity Cup.
Oh, geez.
He dominated the night race.
Did anybody pick him?
Well, the picks are right there under your phone. You can look. You might need to pick it up. So, yeah, who picked him? I picked him for the trucks.
Chat picked him for the cup.
Yeah, chat picked for Cup, and then Danny picked him for Xfinity.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Lightning Wolf. Did you know that NASCAR's Jeff Hammond worked for and wrestled in a wrestling company called TNA Wrestling from 04 to 05? I'm pretty sure I heard about that.
Nothing surprises me anymore. What the things that you have me look up for you on the side while you're driving?
Oh, like NASCAR stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, I was just saying, I mean, the people, like, remember I had to, remember those two, a-hole employees that were coworkers of yours at Chili's that didn't believe me until you had to, like, tell them about it, that I had met Pitbull in person?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to readjust.
Yeah, that's good. It's all right. You're going to be off camera.
I'm going to be, that's fine.
You might just have to yell stuff back and forth.
That's fine.
I mean, we probably won't go too much longer. Oh my God, we're closing in on the 2-hour mark. Hey, hi, welcome to Chili's.
God, I almost got fired because I wouldn't say that.
I wonder, can you say something again? Can you hear her off of there? Actually talk, hon.
Am I able to be heard?
Is Chili's even good? Depends on the one you go to. Actually, depends on the one you go to.
After the pandemic, they lost all of their quality, honestly, I think.
I don't think we can fit the chair through here.
No, we can't.
Shoot.
Here,
slightly. They can slightly hear you.
How about this?
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Chili's as a company, but their food went downhill after they got rid of the original chicken crispers.
They did sponsor. I think they still have some sponsorship with Spire.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. They had Corey LaJoy last year.
Oh.
Yeah, because they made this one where they made a bunch of commercials with him. And then Corey LaJoy became the most hated guy in NASCAR for the year, unfortunately. Let's see.
I almost got fired because I wouldn't say hi, welcome to Chili's. They're like, you got to do it.
And they're sponsoring Hocevar this weekend. And they were roommates. Oh my God, they were roommates. Oh, I miss Vine. Vine clears TikTok any day.
Peak entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah. By the way, Cracker Barrel 400. Cracker Barrel is the sponsor for the Nashville Cup race this year. We love the Crack House.
We love the Crack House.
Good to see you, David Bell. I wasn't. I think I was at that one. I don't know. I don't remember half the damn races I've been at. So Cracker Barrel, actually, do you remember I showed you two? Because you would watch the documentary the day about when Dale Earnhardt died, and then it happened afterwards. Yeah. The race that Harvick won against Gordon was the Cracker Barrel 500, I believe. I think it was still that, because I know that Earnhardt won the year before. So it's a little throwback. We already did talk about Ellie Productions being on the Xfinity car. It's you're blocked.
I'm slowly shrinking.
But just kind of go back, because I think it goes right at the start. I'm just happy for him because he's a good dude. You've seen when we have him on. I've shown you some of his videos before. Mm-hmm. He's a dude that's just always puts in the different memes. He has like the sort of longer form ones. I'd put like Ellie Production videos are like that middle ground between like what Eric and I will do on a weekly basis, and then also what Slap does on his like once every 3 to 5 months basis now.
Gosh.
Did I show you what Slap's last video was?
I think so.
Let me double check. Damn. Let's see. Slap's last video was, I did not show you that.
No, but I know about this.
I mean, you should. Here.
Shut up.
It was the Japanese airport. Yes. Well, you're part Japanese.
Yeah, I'm Thai, Japanese, and Indonesian.
Yeah. So, which is,
and then French.
Yeah. But it's always funny because remember when we met and we started dating, and I'd show her these comments because we started dating in 2020. Here, you're completely off screen now.
Okay.
So we started dating in 2020, and do you remember I would start showing you when we had met the videos, like the comments and people saying how racist I was?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, how?
How?
It was funny though. It was just I find hate comments funny. Yes, and it was he does an April Fool's video every year.
Yeah.
Like he did one on I think it was the AK-74.
I'm surprised you didn't do one this year.
Mine suck. my April Fool's videos suck usually.
Listen, you can do one on the new Mario Kart game because that's a joke.
Yeah. I can do one on affordability of the Switch 2.
Oh god. No.
That's right. I showed you the one he did about spam.
Yeah, you showed me that one.
Yeah. And by the way, Risk can attest to this in person too, as can just about anyone that's been on the podcast for, and the meetups.
This man shotgun spam.
Yeah. There was one point at Road America where Slap brought in an entire like set of grocery bags, and it was just full of meat. It was Vienna sausages. It was spam. It was beef jerky. It was bacon, sausage in general.
He asked me at one point if I wanted a spam sandwich, and I said, "What did you call me?"
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's actually really awesome. His spam and egg sandwich he makes is really, really good. Remember, because at one point she comes home one night. I think it was one night you were like visiting friends or something.
Yeah.
And she comes home from like visiting and going out with friends and ate at this nice restaurant, comes in, and there's me frying up a spam and egg sandwich.
God.
And you're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just making the Slap spamwich." That's what I called it, the spamwich.
I can do one more question, and then
yeah. You are carrying child, so yeah. Let's see. Let's put in a few more questions. We'll pick a good one. You just pick it out, and I'll highlight it on screen. The spamwich. I'm gonna. He should patent that if someone else has it. Let's see. This place is better than I expected. So let's see what you guys got. And that's not the last one. Just Riss will have to, head on out. You like jazz? Remember the Bristol stream? Yes, that's right. You did a watch along stream with me.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Let's see. We could do a quick lightning round with you, and just anyone that comes on to us, do a short answer. So, like, favorite NASCAR track?
I'd say Daytona.
Okay, Daytona. She does not know stop motion creators outside of Eric, and he doesn't really do them anymore. Favorite NASCAR transformer?
Oh God, I can't answer that question.
Favorite racing movie?
Favorite racing movie? Is it a cop out if I say Cars?
No.
No.
Most of them, their Cars is probably number one.
Probably Cars. I can't stand Talladega Nights.
So it said Sun next on the to-do list. We'll get there. Your baby gonna be a Vikings fan?
There's a bear shit in the woods.
Woohoo! That's my dad, by the way. That's my dad. Favorite game?
Okami.
Okay, I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite non-racing movie?
Favorite non-racing movie? Lady and the Tramp. Yep.
Let's see. What's better, Daytona or Talladega?
Talladega, the track.
The track, but the amenities of Daytona?
Yes.
Oh. My dad is happy.
I hope so.
Favorite soda?
Uh,
Or is it
ooh,
pop in the Midwest?
I am a sucker for vanilla root beer.
I don't even remember what my favorite is anymore. Do you like Michigan International Speedway?
I'd say so.
Yeah, we went with my parents and Danny and Claudia.
Yeah.
That was remember because we went to the Xfinity race and we get there and it was just like if you've ever tried parking in Michigan, it's a madhouse. Let's see. Favorite band?
All time low.
What was my favorite cartoon show when I was a kid? Avatar: The Last Airbender. How about you?
Cartoon show. I can't remember. I didn't watch a lot growing up just because I always played video games. So
Do you like Casey Kane?
not a bad dude.
I
He's got nice eyes.
don't think you've ever watched. You've never watched a race with him.
No, I
before.
haven't, but he's got nice eyes.
Do you like Tony Stewart?
He's pretty okay.
Favorite NASCAR YouTuber besides me? Oh, let's not put anyone on the spot. There's a lot of people we could put on the spot here and be like, "What?" You realize that you come into contact with multiple ones of us every week. I'm not going to put you on the spot on there.
Please don't put me on the spot. But that's a good question.
There's a lot of good ones that we're friends with in the group. Let's see. Favorite type of pizza?
Supreme.
Let's see. Who's better, Logano or Kyle Busch?
Kyle Busch. Next question.
Favorite old school retired driver? Member of the family?
Is it a cop out if I say Dick Trickle?
But tell them why with Dick Trickle.
So my sister is my half sister, and her side of the family is related to Dick Trickle. So I'm related to Dick Trickle by marriage.
So I always brag that technically I am in-laws with Dick Trickle.
Yep.
Woohoo! Let's see. Favorite number?
9.
9. That was pre-knowing
that was pre Chase Elliott. No, that is from a video game.
Should you explain or no?
It's from the Nonary games. It's an escape room game.
Of course.
Really. Listen, Spike Chunsoft has a chokehold on my wallet.
Let's see. Would you ever attend pro wrestling event? It would take me going for free because it's just not my thing.
I used to like wrestling when I was little.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to watch WWE all the time.
Tell them what race was your first race your dad took you.
I can't remember that because I was playing on my DS the entire time.
Well,
I was an 8-year-old kid.
Your dad, I don't know if you were 8 or not because
no, I was 10. I was 10.
I'm not sure exactly what age you were because your dad told me about it too. Her first race, and it's ironic because you're a Denny Hamlin fan, was the race that Eric Almirola started and had to get kicked out of the car for Denny Hamlin to jump into at the Milwaukee Mile.
Yep.
All right, let's look at one more for you, and then we'll make sure that you can just, rest up. So let's look at one more. See, that's funny is like you actually have a history in racing even before meeting me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, my dad's a huge racing fan.
Let's see. I want a really good one for it. I'm loving these ones. Like I know I can answer a lot of them. Just remember, she's not as big into racing as me. She likes it. She'll watch it with me, but like it's not. She's not exactly as much of a no life with it as me. I'm not gonna put you on spot with like playoffs and chase and full season and all that. Just because I don't want to start a war just yet. Will the child be named Lamar Jackson?
I hope not. She would get bullied.
Oh, this is a good one. That's a good one. Don't embarrass me too badly.
People who chew loud. Not even with their mouth open. It's
no.
who chew loud.
Your pet peeve of me.
Oh.
No, my pet peeve is like it's especially when people chew with their mouth open. Oh my God, it pisses me off. Get in the camera again. Tell them.
I'm trying to think.
What it most annoys you about what things I do? Because I feel like there's one in particular.
Whenever I'm driving and you tell me how to drive.
That was not the one I was thinking of. The one I was thinking of is when you're cooking and I just constantly will mess with you and prank you little ways and stuff.
No, that's
I'll be
fine.
Like, bzz, bzz, and all that.
Or when you leave your shoes on in the house.
Yeah, I've done that before.
I'll beat somebody with my shoes.
I've done that before. Jarrett, Verstappen, or Larson.
Hello, wife of Jarrett.
So
this has been pretty eventful.
no, who are you picking?
Oh, Larson.
Probably a better driver for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on for a
Yeah.
bit.
Thank
I know
you for letting me pop in.
Well, I know everybody's been wanting you to come on one of these at one point, so
Mhm.
I'll probably see you in like 15
No,
minutes.
you're good. I'm gonna make sure that the dog's not crying.
All right, here.
Oh,
Nope,
I
you're
got
good.
it.
Yeah, Rhett is attention deprived, so it's all good. It's amazing when a big bowling ball in her belly gets in the way. It's tougher to get through. Yeah, she appreciates it. She appreciates all the love, y'all. I appreciate you guys. Asking the fun questions, putting me on the spot a little bit there. um, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun having her come on some of these every now and then. Not like every other video. I would never be probably the person ever to do that, but like a once every year or so, once every year or two. I don't know. Make it a surprise one where you just have to sort of pop on. You should do a podcast like Dale and Amy once in a while. The thing is, I'd have to convince her to do that. I can yap all day long, but I don't know like if she would want to or not. Maybe we'll talk about that. By the way, there she is. Nice to meet you all, she says. Thank you, Riss. I'm gonna drink some water for a second. All right. Bless your Berg. How did you come up with the name the Iceberg? I always love answering this one. Always love answering this one. So, it came from when I played football. And it was when I was in 7th, 8th grade. I can't remember which one in particular, but I had a really bad flu. And I just felt like crap, man. Just felt terrible. And so, we start playing this game, and I come up to my last name's Lundberg, and I come up to my coach, and I'm like, "Coach, I can't do this. I'm like seeing like double vision. I'm out of it. My temp is starting to rise, getting a cough, all that crap." So my coach, I need to sit down. I don't feel well. And he's like, "Well, what's going on, Lundberg?" And I'm like, "I think I have a really bad cold." I had mixed up the word flu and cold in that moment. Well, and he goes, "Oh," and he looks at the other coach. "Look, Lundberg's got a cold. Iceberg is cold." And it never left me since. It was my nickname in football. It was my nickname of people I was friends with in high school. One of my friends I still talk to, she has had in her phone since 2013. My contact is Iceberg. Like before this channel, I made this channel as just a side thing, just on the side of it could have been like my shit posting channel or something. If I ever elected to do so. And I just named it the Iceberg. And at the time, I think I had a picture of an iceberg from Avatar: The Last Airbender. 2 years before that, she had that on her phone as Iceberg. I like to this day, there's like her contact is like a picture of her and I like on spring break at one point and an iceberg. And so like it's just stuck with me. And I'm okay with it because I think it's actually a pretty badass nickname. But yeah, it was not because of like some crazy story, that I had done something in the Arctic or it hit the Titanic. It came from me being making a dumb mistake in my wording playing football in like 7th or 8th grade. And it just stuck with ever since. I think it sticks pretty good. I mean, I know people who both like me and dislike me who will refer to me as Iceberg because they just don't know my name, which is fine because I go out as Iceberg. Everyone publicly knows me as that, and it sticks. I've had drivers be like, "Oh, you're Iceberg." I'm like, "Shit." Yep, that's me. Alex here says, if you were a Transformers, which would you transform into, both vehicle and animal? I don't know. I've never been a big Transformers guy. Let me put it like this. I watched Transformers as a kid because Megan Fox was in it. That's, I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about Shia LaBeouf. Um, so let's see, vehicle and animal. Um, this is gonna sound weird, but I would really like to be like a mid 2000s Monte Carlo SS, and just because I thought those cars looked really good. I thought the front looked really good, and those ended up being the front they had for the Impala. And I always liked the rear headlights or tail lights, I should say, of Impalas or Monte Carlos back in the day in the 2000s. Plus, it was my favorite car growing up watching on the racetrack. Um, Animal, I didn't know Transformers transforming into animals. I don't know. I like the T-Rex one that shot fire out of its mouth. Didn't like Optimus Prime ride that or something? Uh, let's see. Y'all think Raja could win at Bristol tomorrow? I mean, he could. Those cars or those trucks should be pretty good. Um, do you watch college sports? Not really. Like I football wise, I'll root for Notre Dame. My family has forever. Like, but you know, that's about it. I if Notre Dame did not make it far into the college football playoffs, I would not have cared. I don't care about college football. I honestly think college football is really boring. It goes on incredibly too long. The players aren't as good as NFL players. The calls now are getting as bad as the NFL. Honestly, like if I had to rank what football games I'd watch, it'd be like NFL, high school football, college, then UFL. Because UFL is just, I like seeing either good players or pure football that's not going to be muddied up by officiating and problems. And it's the same thing with racing. As much as NASCAR has muddied it up over the years, it's why I harp on it so much. But this is a thing for me in sports in general. But I don't watch college basketball. I don't watch college anything really. I was not a fan of college, even when I went to college. Just not a fan of college culture in general. Have you ever thought of doing another NWP with fans at some point? Probably not this year, unless the dream for me, and I know it'd be difficult to happen, but like I know like Eric does Power Hour with Brennan Poole at the track. I would love to do like a 30-minute or an hour long NWP on the stage at the track, or like kind of what the Garage Guys did a couple years ago at Daytona, where they hosted their podcast live at the Hooters across the street from the track, and you can see like the track in the background. I'd love to do the show at the track, have a special at some point. You know, next time that we're all in town together, I can't wait to do one where it's all of us in person together. But I would love to do a NASCAR race day styled NWP, or do a post race show similar. Like watching on Vodie's channel, I've been watching a lot of the NASCAR race days in the past, and I'm like, we could totally do something like this with me, Danny, and Eric for the podcast. Totally could. The problem is just one, you got to have the contacts. You got to make sure that everyone can travel at the same time too. The money behind a lot of it too. That's a reason they don't do that stuff at the track that much anymore. They brought a race day back at one point. I think they had like John Roberts and Kenny Wallace and like a couple of the others come back, but it wasn't. I remember they had it at a Gateway, and it was nothing like it used to be. It was like them like yelling stuff into the crowd and chants, and it wasn't for me. But I liked old school one. The thing about when you watch Vodie's channel, because all this stuff's from like 2008, 2009. The thing that's so crazy is that 16 years ago was 2009. And when you look at how different media is, it's amazing how much they would just go like 10 minutes and then a commercial. So it's like I was talking about earlier, like we do the podcast on Spotify, and they had put, every 10 minutes, let's just say, commercial breaks in there. In 2009, we were all okay with that. Like I remember watching NASCAR race day back then, and like a quarter of that time slot was just dedicated to commercial breaks and sponsor segments too. And no one had a problem with it at the time, because back in 2009, that was the norm. I remember I used to watch ESPN because they covered NASCAR back then. They covered NASCAR really until about 2010, 11. So like 2009, they talk about NASCAR on SportsCenter, but SportsCenter had a lot more commercials back then. You know, it's you would definitely have to do it differently. I remember talking to John about this because he's done broadcasts where they've had commercial breaks before. And the way he put it is basically like commercial breaks also are put in there in part because it's hard to talk and to raise your voice and, you know, turn four and in the wall and side job and all that. It's hard to keep the energy, keep your voice, and then do it nonstop, right? Which I know a lot of people are like rolling their eyes, like, okay, yeah, you have the dream job of calling a NASCAR race and your voice hurts, but it's like your voice is your moneymaker. And so there's so many differences that have to be attributed for and changed and different things like that over the years. Like I'm just telling you now, we've been live about 2 hours and my voice does actually hurt a little bit. And it's also partly because I don't drink enough water. But you have to do different things. Like when I call races with John, I spend a week basically drinking honey water and resting my voice up when I'm not on the podcast and doing different exercises to make sure I can talk longer and things like that. Like there's a real process that's actually behind it. So when you hear me, you know, like say, you know, NWP 400 this year is on a Sunday night, but usually it was on a Tuesday night. It's the Sunday after the Richmond race this year, by the way, for anyone who's wondering when it's going to be, just because of scheduling and stuff like that. But usually it's a Tuesday night. And so you'll hear me for 3-4 hours talking at this level at the minimum and then screaming about stuff, calling races, going back and forth. And then I'll come on the next day on NWP and I'll be relatively normal. I might, you know, have a little rasp, but I'm usually fine. It's like there's a process behind all of that. And then there's a process afterwards, you know, like the worst thing that you could do before going on broadcast. And it's why I don't really do it that often unless it's right at the end. It's like if you drink alcohol like the day before you broadcast or talk or anything, then I've learned this the hard way. Like your voice is fudged. I won't go full, you know, I don't want to get full demonetized, but I mean it's bad. Because it just screws your voice. I mean, it's the same thing like drinking milk, things like that. You know, there's certain things you can't do. Like it's why you don't hear about broadcasters going out and partying all the time because they're going to sound terrible or they're going to tell they're hungover or something like that. And then you have like just complete mad lads that are amazing and can overcome any of that no problem, like Harry Carey back in the day. Go Cubs. I have no idea if they played today or not. I think did they play today? No, they did not. They play tomorrow against the Dodgers. Yeah. All right. Those two pretty good teams. That actually should be a pretty good game. You know, so there's a lot of that. A lot that goes into that people don't see. It's why I have to say I respect the form so much more since doing stuff with John, hearing the stuff he does live in person now. You know, like he's done radio, he's done, you know, broadcast, he's done streaming, he's done it all. And if we ever hear him calling a Daytona 500 or a championship for NASCAR or something, like just know like the amount of work and effort that went into that. It was not just yapping. Let's see. Would you want Rick Allen back on the broadcast? I don't mind having him. I'll say this. If Fox can't find anyone worthwhile, if they don't bring like John or Eric Brennan up there, which those two are like, to me, those two are the future of NASCAR commentating. My, you know, obviously biased for both of them because I like both of them. I know both of them. They're good people. But I want Rick Allen back there. Like if the choice is Rick Allen or Jamie Little, like I want Rick Allen. I get he has, you know, problems and aggressive goes around and he has his Rick Allenisms that people bring up. But the dude is a good commentator. I think he's he's messed up a lot. I get that. But at the same time, he has never been as bad as when you watch truck broadcasts and like Jamie Little has just been put on like, you know, 75% speed. You know, when you go on YouTube and you put somebody at half speed or 75% speed, like I'll take Rick Allen screwing the little things like those up rather than, you know, and he comes to the line and he wins. It's like no. And I mean, again, and I would say it every time because I think she is one of the best pit reporters in NASCAR today. Might be the best, one of the best ones we've seen in the last 15 to 20 years. She's a professional in so many ways, but she's just not cut out for the booth. It sucks because I want her to, and I gave her a chance. At the time, I even said, "Man, she is, give her a chance. There's something to be built here." But Fox just didn't build it. If you build it, they will come. Fox decided not to build. But she's a great pit reporter. Like if I'm building a group that I want in the pits, that's like her. She'd be the first one. Obviously like Marty Snyder, because he's been around so long. He has that just the it factor. Kim Kuhn, she already started out pretty good, probably because being in the pits as Miss Sprint Cup for a while, and then on the radio side of it and all of that, knows a lot of the new drivers that have come up. She'd be great too. I mean, that's a great cast of characters to be put in the pits, those three. I miss Chris Devoda. She's doing a lot more stuff with the short track scene now. A lot of the people that you wonder, like, where did they go out of racing? Wendy Venturini, she was really good too. A lot of these people that you wonder, like, where did they go? They're usually working in different aspects of the industry now. They are, there's so many different people that do so many different jobs that you'll never see. A lot of people who used to be on the camera might not be just fine, maybe in the moment, but are very good being outside of the camera's lens. Speaking of, I see Nicole Briscoe still at ESPN. Yes, she's still at ESPN. She actually, I believe she's from Roscoe, if I'm not mistaken. I think she went to school with, Danica Patrick. Because I believe she went to Hananiga, which was the rival school of my school, Boylan. But I knew her growing up as Nicole Mansky. And then, she got married. Nicole Briscoe, is obviously her name now, being married to Ryan Briscoe. But yeah, so native, I'm just looking on her wiki here. And yeah, a native of Roscoe, north of Rockford, Illinois. Roscoe's where my grandparents live. She graduated from Hananiga High School in Rockton in '98. She and future auto racer Danica Patrick were cheerleaders there. I didn't know that part. But yeah, I remember hearing about her and seeing her, like she was on like local news and stuff growing up. Like Nicole Briscoe, Danica Patrick, that whole area was, that whole area had a lot of people that had come up through the ranks when it came to sports, just in general. Because we had Boylan, we had a kicker, Demke, and I believe he got a Super Bowl ring with the Ravens at one point. And of course, I went to school with Dean Lowry. He taught me how to bench press, and he ended up playing for the Packers for a couple years. He played for the Vikings in 23, and I don't know if he's let me check. I think he's a free agent now, but he played with the Steelers last year. Maybe they signed him back on. Yeah, he's with the Steelers still. So yeah, trust me, there's actually plenty of pretty good stories I have. The fun stories are the ones I can't say on the internet, or at least I can't say yet until like the statute of limitation expires. That's the fun part of like, as years go on, is like you realize you can start telling stories that you otherwise couldn't. It's like when I used to, like, back in the day, me and my friends, when I was in high school, would, on weekends when our parents were out or stuff, we'd go out and we'd go out and race in the back roads of like southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Never crashed. We're still all here, but there's some fun stories that I can't say on line or anything like that. But they're pretty good ones. We all have those though. Everyone has those, whether it's ones you can't tell on the internet or you can't tell you can't tell them at work, not safe for work stories, or you can't tell them, to your parents or something like that. If you're young enough, like that's how it, we know how it is. Um, let's see. Let's see. Yes, I see, Jarrett. As the years go by, you start to open yourself to others much more than you usually would. Yeah. Um, no one would probably guess it, but growing up, I was an introvert. I was, like I could be outgoing. I could be the center of attention at times. But if you took me out to a group in front of 10 people I didn't know, I was usually, unless somebody had to start the conversation for me to start talking. Um, but over the years, I think I've went way more on the extrovert side. Like, if you ever seen like, if you ever see me at the track, like I will just start conversations with people. I've inherited that from my grandmother. Um, but yeah, I was, yes, I guess you could say that I was an introvert. I was pretty introverted. Um, but I don't know, as that's the years go on, you come out of your shell. Storytellers on the Iceberg. Trust me, there are people who could tell stories way better than me. We can get Connor from Ellie Productions on. We can get Slap on. We can, I'd say you get Eric on. He can tell some pretty good ones. Like John. Oh my God, John is probably, of all the people I've met in NASCAR, is probably the best storyteller I've ever met. Like that guy. That guy can make a 5-minute random story turn into a 20-minute epic that is on par with Ben-Hur. Like it's really good. This some of the stories he can tell. You get him rolling and you just sit back and watch. We need to get him like that thing. We need to get him rolling this week on the pod, or next week on the podcast. The week after, I should say, the 23rd. Let's see. Um, a lot of people saying how much of an introvert they can be. A lot of people. Let's see. David Bell here says, I've tried to watch the Fox stream one other time after a race to see what I may have missed. Mike and commercials are like trying to talk to your shadow. Kevin, Clint do okay, but so pathetic. That's the thing, man. Like, so many people in this industry will defend the broadcast, but you could tell they never watch the broadcast, because when they actually do watch it at home, because they're not working at the track for something else, they're like, "Oh my God, this is worse than I thought it'd be." It's like, well, yeah, we've been saying this for, God, with Fox, we've been saying it almost 10 years now. Yeah. So respect for going back and actually watching them. Like, I'll tell you this, unless I need to take notes or there's something that I totally missed that I need to go back and rewatch, I do not rewatch races when I attend them in person. I don't see a reason to. You know, I don't see a reason to go back and watch something I already watched if I think I've retained it enough. But uh, let's see. I want to see Jimmy Spencer in the booth for the Cup races. I would love Jimmy Spencer in the booth, but he would cuss. Like, he's been off TV so long, he's probably out of practice. He'd probably be like, "Yeah, yeah, son of a bitch, I loved your dad, Junior." If you ever watched or listened to that Dale Jr. download, it's just that's how it is the entire time. "I loved your dad, son of a bitch, Dale." And he just says it over and over and over and over and over again. But I love Jimmy Spencer, man. Yeah, Jimmy, you can't say that. I Anytime it's a you can't do that or you can't say that, I think of Benny Parsons too. But all right, guys. I think I'm going to call it there. I appreciate you guys coming out. We'll be live tomorrow after the truck race. If for some reason it's rained out, we'll be live when they call it rained out, and we'll go from there. We'll be live tomorrow night. We'll be live Saturday after the Xfinity race. We'll be live after the Sunday Cup race. Come in, come all, because it's going to be it's going to be fun. It's fun because everyone just swarms and floods in right after the race. I want to see how many people we can get on up to, man. And yeah, I think is he live? Is Michael Roots live right now? Is he still live? Because I know he was live earlier. But if Michael is live, why don't we go raid his? We'll do an Iceberg raid if he's live. So yeah, he's live. So go raid Michael's stream. Go tell him I said hi, and I can't wait to when we get him on the show later this year. But yeah, I know that there's a way that I can do this, but I'm just gonna honestly, I'm just gonna pull up his. I'm gonna pull up his stream, and I'm just gonna send y'all the link, and we'll go from there. Like his stream too, by the way. Make sure whenever we do that make sure that we like the stream, give all the support you can. But go and raid his stream, Iceberg raid. I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. Can't wait to see you tomorrow after the truck race, Saturday after Xfinity, and Sunday after Cup. Can't wait to see you then. And have a good night, y'all. Later.